Hi gang, excuse me, so I'm around about 31 hours since I've had any sleep because yesterday evening I just couldn't put my head on the pillow with the Trigeminal neuralgia. Managed to get through the night by calling on all my coping strategy reserves and managed it, came out the other side feeling good today, even though I've had no sleep and I've had nothing to eat because I don't want to risk setting it off again, but I've got lots of energy and got the dogs with me wherever they are now. I think you can probably see Teddy. So there's, here's Billy somewhere, there he goes. Yeah, really just don't want anybody to get disheartened if they're struggling with similar issues to that of mine last night. Maybe you haven't got as many years experience coping with chronic pain, and if you haven't, that's difficult, but I suppose if there's anything to be grateful for, it is with the trigeminal neuralgia. What I tend to think of now is that as much as I'm suffering whenever or whatever time of day, there are, according to Google, 12 in every 100,000 people get the disease, so they're struggling along with me, and that gives me a great deal of inspiration and courage, because I know I'm not on my own. Whilst I don't want anybody else to suffer, and I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy if I had one, I don't have any enemies now, thank goodness. I've let go of all that negativity. It doesn't help you, and that's something that I wanted to touch on really. Last year when I decided to come off all the opiates and see if I could manage my life sort of in a natural way by going on to plant-based food and changing my mindset, I had to let go of a lot of things. One of the main things that I realise now that I was suffering from was an awful lot of anger and frustration at grief. I lost my parents when they were both relatively young. My dad was 48, my mum was 53. They both died of cancer. My mother-in-law was 52 and she died the same year as my dad. And I used to think that by thinking about them constantly, which is what I used to do prior to starting the mindfulness training, I was constantly thinking about them, but really not in a, looking back, it wasn't in a positive way. My mind sort of kept going to periods of their life when they weren't really well, and little did I know, but I do now, that that's not the way to remember them, because it's not a life filled with love and kindness and gratitude. It's one filled with anger and bitterness and resentment And it's only when you let go of all those things and you change the way that you think about things, it changes your perception. And now I don't think about my mum and dad half as much as I used to think about them. But when I do think about them now, what I think about is, I think about all the good times. And that's really how you should remember them. Sorry, I'm just I'm a little bit emotional because I've been on a drug called Duloxetine for about 3 years, maybe a little bit less. I was on an antidepressant called VenlafaXine before that, and I've been off the Duloxetine now for I think it's 5 days, yeah, because I've lost track of time with not having any sleep last night. So it's 5 days now that I'm free, and I do remember when I came off the VenlafaXine, you can tell that you get really emotional quite easily, and for me it's the drugs coming out of your system. So 5 days later, and I have done it real sensibly, the reduction and eventually coming off the drug, to the point where I was only on 20 milligrams a day every other day, and then I've not had none for 5 days. But prior to that I was on the maximum dose of 120, and so yeah, it's crazy how it stays in your system and how it affects the balance of your system. And so I've noticed that yesterday and today I'm getting emotional over lots of things, to the point where you feel like or you feel as though you're just going to sort of bawl your eyes out and just cry and cry, and maybe I shouldn't resist that. Maybe I should just sort of let go and have a good old cry and get it out of my system. But I know it'll pass, because I've been in this place before when I've come off different drugs, and I'll come through it in a happier and a stronger place, and in a better mindset, which will give me strength and courage for the future. Although it's an antidepressant, I wasn't really taking it for the antidepressant qualities of the drug. So I was really hoping for the nerve pain that it allegedly treats. So anyway, that's enough about Duloxetine, and I want to keep the video under 10 minutes, and I usually say that and then go on for about 18, but I am gonna call it a day before 10 minutes. And I just really, because last night's video that I made was looking back at it now, and I'm going to end up going over the 10 minutes, so I do apologise. But looking back at the video, I'm not sure if you've noticed anything in particular, but I'm not having any shocks whilst I'm out here. I'm in a woods not far from my home. and my whole nervous system is in a state of complete balance. I love it out here. You're at one with nature. The dogs are free, they can run around. I can send my story across to anybody who's willing to listen, and this isn't the first video that I made out here, and I don't suffer from any of the trigeminal neuralgia shocks, and I know that as soon as I get back to the house, that the phone could go or anything, and I could just get some crazy shocks, or anything in particular could happen. It's just a thought, isn't it? A thought of the past. Past experience can bring on stress. So, and while you're out here, you're at one, and you're mindful, and you're concentrating on the present moment. I've got a lovely stream here running along, and it's perfect. So thanks gang, thanks for listening. I've said this before and I'll keep saying it: if just one person gets anything out of this, that's made it worthwhile for me. If you've liked the video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't, give me a thumbs down and give me some constructive comments, and I'll try my hardest to change, because that's what life's all about, isn't it? Well, that's the way I live my life now, to try and be the best version of myself every single day. In the past I haven't been, but I don't worry about that. I don't even think about that. Which is why a lot of my pain's in the past, and I've been able to let a lot of my pain go. It's still in my body, but it's not in my mind. So take care, everybody. I hope you've got the strength, the courage, the determination, the intention to get through your day. Peace in pain.